Here, Cindy. Susan's the last one, but I don't know if she's going to be here. Cindy, they're down there.
You think just because it's the last meeting, you don't have to sit up front? Not yet.
Did you miss me?
We didn't know you were gone.
Too quiet.
Call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
So let's pray. Good and gracious Heavenly Father, we're grateful for your presence with us here this evening. We acknowledge our dependence upon you and look to you for wisdom and guidance. We thank you for this beautiful community that we all call home. We ask your continued blessing upon every individual, both young and old, and every family and business and the community of Mitchell. We ask that you would grant wisdom to those who serve in areas of leadership and decision-making. And may we all follow your instruction to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. I ask all of this in the name of your Son, my Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Sabers. Rice.
Here.
Dosher. McCardle. Barrington.
Here.
Allen.
Here.
Chark. Smith.
Here.
We have a quorum. Approval of consent agenda items. Items of current consent agenda may be removed by a city council member for discussion at the beginning of the formal agenda items. Is there anything you wish to remove? Mr. Wright.
I don't want to remove anything, but Nathan, can you give a little bit of background on the bid for the ice arena compressor replacement?
Yes, what we have here is the $485,000 is to replace the compressor, the refrigeration system at the ice arena. It has 4 compressors in there that'll be replaced, and we're going to replace that with a R507 system, which matches the south rink.
Okay.
So we want to make sure we have matching units there. And that'll be, take the whole thing out. We'll have to take out a wall to put a new one back in, and then we're going to rebuild the wall into a larger door. So if you ever had to do that again, you wouldn't have to take the wall out.
Okay. And the timing on that?
We're shooting before season starts. So that's the goal. Before September.
So if we approve, it will
Yep.
start immediately?
We're on their schedule. Yep.
Okay.
Anything else?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rice, second by Mr. Charks. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to address any of these? Roll call, please.
Chark. Aye. Smith.
Aye.
Sabers.
Aye.
Rice.
Aye.
Dosher. McCardle.
Aye.
Barrington.
Aye.
Allen.
Aye.
Motion carries. Citizens input. If you need to address the mayor or members of council on an item that was not on the agenda, excluding personnel items, please come forward to the podium, state your name and your concern. Presentation will limit to 3 minutes. Items will be considered, but no action will be taken. I want to start this real quick by saying that tomorrow there is a forum put on by the Chamber of Commerce in the Corn Palace. It begins at 6:30. I believe city council members are starting, if I read that right. Is that right? Okay. Followed by the mayor, followed by the school board. So that is tomorrow in the Corn Palace. I also want to thank Mr. Croce. This will be his, well, other than special meetings, this will be his final regular meeting. He is exiting as Public Works Director and heading back to warmer weather where there's less snow in April, I hope. And we want to thank you for your service. And to Mr. Putnam, sitting in the back there, he is retiring as of Friday. I want to thank you for your service. I was hoping to be here for your retirement party, but I'm headed to Austin, Texas for some stuff, so I won't make it. Apologize for that. So, okay. With that, is there anybody who wishes to address council?
Hi.
Okay.
I have Sarah's handout. Sonia Vanderwick, I'm from Mitchell Township. You've seen me a lot here, just giving you a little update of some information that you may not be aware of in regard to COVID. You might have heard that just a couple days ago, the FDA approved emergency use authorization for the gene therapy shot for 12 to 15-year-olds. And you may not realize that the 0 to 19 age group has a 99.997% survival rate from this. And no one under the age of 18 was ever in the trial. So you need to be aware of that, and I wanted to discuss that with you and let you know of that happened. I also want you to be aware of a sheet that I handed out to you. I'll go over that. But as of May 7th, from the VAERS reporting system, there has been 192,954 gene therapy shot reactions, 4,057 deaths. Mind you, this is in a 4 to 5 month period, okay? 11,572 hospitalizations, 25,603 urgent care visits, 32,803 office visits, 940 anaphylaxis, 1,112 Bell's palsy reactions, 1,262 heart attacks, 275 miscarriages, 9,175 severe allergic reactions, 939 thrombocytopenic events or low platelet count, which means this is about 1 to 10% of what's reported. So we've had over 4,000 deaths with these shots in the United States alone, and that's, like I said, 1 to 10%. So we need to be mindful of that. There are a lot of people that are having reactions that aren't being reported, and if this is so safe and effective, we would not have these reactions. This form that I gave to you is a form for employees whose employers are requiring COVID-19 injections as a requirement. One thing I want you to be aware of, there's a new thing that came out from OSHA. So, in general, an adverse reaction to the COVID shot, I'm not going to call it a vaccine because it's not, is recordable if the reaction is 1, work-related, a new case, or meets 1 or more of the general recording criteria. So in other words, if a business requires and says to their employees they have to get the shot, if something happens to them because they were required to get the shot, that business is liable for that. Okay? Just so you know that. And this is discussed in this form that I handed out to you. It goes through life insurance policy questions, health insurance policy questions, workman's comp, disability, and other resources. So OSHA changed that. So if you are a business and you are thinking of mandating a emergency use authorization, which is an experiment, which is what's going on right now, then you could be liable for the reactions or death or disability in that regard. So I want all of you to feel free to share this. I've been sharing this with people all over the country. If you don't follow me on Facebook, I do a lot of education pieces and I have a lot of backup information with it. And I think it's something that we need to be aware of. You cannot mandate an experiment, and never should anybody be telling you what you should do with your body in that regards. Okay? So, and then why I bring it up is because this city went with the mask mandate. The next step is the shot mandate. And even though we're not under a mandate now, this is something that we need to be considering. So I really appreciate all the work you do. I appreciate you letting me speak. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address council? Okay. Board of Adjustment, entertain a motion for City Council recess, set as the Board of Adjustment.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rice, second by Mr. McCarroll. Further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Hearing in action for Erica Hennessy, 1325 Palmer Place. Erica Hennessy has applied for a conditional use permit to operate a family residential child care center in her home at 1325 Palmer Place, legally described as Lot 5 and west 3 feet of Lot 4. Block 8, Garden View, District City, Mitchell County, South Dakota. Property is zoned R2, single family. Mr. Putnam.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Before I begin with my report, I just wanted to give you a little personal privilege. Thank you very much for the support you've given me for the past 23 years. It doesn't seem that possible, but that's been quite a ride since that time. And just wanted to say thanks to all the employees, the great employees for the city of Mitchell. And I'm not going anywhere. are gonna be staying around in Mitchell, so, but, anyway, I just wanted to make sure that you're, well aware of the gratitude that I have for the city and the people who work here and the elected officials and so forth. So with that, I will proceed then. The Planning Commission did hold a hearing on this request and did recommend approval with 3 conditions. One is that you pass a fire inspection, 2, that it be non-transferable, and 3, that if the business ceases to operate for a period of 6 months or longer, that a new application would be fulfilled. However, I did find out now that she has passed a fire inspection since Planning Commission. So in essence, it would be recommend two conditions. So.
Move to approve with the recommendations by the
Motion by
Planning
Mr.
Commission.
Allen, second by Mr. Rice. Further discussion? Is there anybody in the audience wishes to address this one? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Reconvene the City Council, entertain a motion for Board of Adjustment to adjourn City Council reconvene in regular session. Motion by Mr. Rice,
Second.
second by Mr. Allen. Further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Hearing and action on the following alcohol license applications. On the application to transfer RB 2835 retail on-off sale malt beverage from and South Dakota Farm Wine from Hone Partnership LLC, doing business as Platinum Players Club 3, 719 North Sanborn, Suite 3, Mitchell, to Hone Partnership LLC, doing business as Platinum Players Club 3, 719 North Sanborn, Suite 3, due to configuration of the license. Any issues, Mr. Cost?
No, Mayor and Council, Mike Coster, Chief of the Police Department. We have no concerns about the item.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. McCardle, second by Mr. Sabers. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to address this? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. On the application of the transfer of RB 3133 retail on-off sale malt beverage license in South Dakota Farm Wine from Hone Partnership LLC, doing business as Platinum Players Club 1, 719 North Sanborn, Mitchell, to Hone Partnership LLC, doing business as Platinum Players Club 1, 719 North Sanborn, Mitchell, due to configuration of the license.
Mayor and Council, Chief Coster again, we have no concerns about this and recommend approval.
Motion by Mr. Sabers,
Second.
second by Mr. Rice. Further discussion? Is there anybody in the audience wishes to address this one? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Action to approve application for renewal of malt beverage licenses.
Mayor and Council, again, we have no concerns of any of these licenses up for renewal and recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Allen, second by Mr. McCardle. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience wishes to address this? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. 2021 bridge inspection update from Bros Engineering. Come on up. Who's going to speak?
Mr. Mayor and Council, Kyle Croce, Public Works Director. So this is a yearly inspection that we have 4 bridges throughout town, and Bros provides that service with us, for us, and Don Hammond will speak to the inspections and results.
Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, as he said, I'm Don Hammond with Bros. As you can see in the packet that I sent over, there were four bridges inspected this year. Well, one was a box culvert. The only atypical structure that we had this year was that we are recommending a load rating on the canal bridge out the lake, because it's got a timber cap that's out there that's crushing, and it's gotten to the point where it needs to be addressed. So we're recommending load reduction posting of 50% of legal loads, so it'd be 12 and 20 for the actual tonnage for vehicles.
So,
Go ahead.
just as an average person, how do you know if that applies to you or not? I mean, is that, well, if...
Yeah, truckers know the rules basically. It's by the posted sign.
I'm just surprised that we have that many that size of vehicles going out there that would cause this kind of damage?
Actually, it's not really caused by overweight vehicles in this case. It was basically the design of the original structure. It's not that old. I mean, we went after a preservation grant on this a couple of years ago because we addressed this very issue. We saw it coming. What they did when they built it, it's got a 12 by 12 treated timber cap on the abutments, and when they tried to match the crown and basically the super elevation of that roadway, they cut a chunk out of that timber pile so it could wedge together and create a little bit of a slope. Well, in doing so, it sits right over the top of a pile, and anytime you take out the treated side of a structure, that's always going to there's going to be water and things propagating into it, so it just decayed over time. And in this last inspection cycle, it's up to about 50% of that cap now, and it's as you can see from the pictures, like that one there, you can see that it's bulging on the bottom now, and that's right over the cap. It does have a steel channel iron over the top of it. It gains a little support from that, but not much. So I've been corresponding back and forth with Joe, and on how to address this issue. I mean, if you're not willing to live with a 50% legal load for very long, and I know this causes a bit of a problem for you guys, I mean, and locals particularly. We addressed, like I said, we went after a preservation grant a couple of years ago to address that and some other issues like the surface of the deck units, that's pre-stressed double T bridge. So each beam basically acts as its own deck too. So, and that's starting to show some deterioration as well. But it's not horribly significant. So my thought was, we'll go after preservation grant. There's a big program through the state, and it was rejected because they don't like to do like a chip seal on that type of thing. That would have been part of the process. And then as far as this goes, they didn't see the value of a preservation grant on fixing a single issue like this. Well, now we have this issue that's gotten bad, because they basically even kind of recommended at the time, just wait till you get to a critical mass, which we're at now. And then, I talked to them about a potential replacement now, a replacement grant, but it's not that old. So I thought, well, they're just going to reject that out of hand. Well, they didn't necessarily, but when I started evaluating costs of a replacement structure of that type, if it's going to go through a state grant program, it would end up being something like a rigid frame continuous concrete bridge. And right now, just evaluating a couple of structures that were of similar size and similar scope in the last 3 years, you're talking for a 45-foot long bridge, it's $1 million to $1.2 million. And that's over double what we normally, just because of the complications in the design, it's complication in build. Plus you have the adjacent pedestrian structure that went in not too long ago. We have the option of extending the length of the bridge, of the existing bridge, and putting berm type berms in, or riprap berms. But again, then you run into the additional cost of a longer bridge. Plus you have to still deal with what's on the other side. So I called around. I called a couple of contractors, and just to see what it would take to address the issues in the bridge inspection itself. And one responded with basically what I was looking to do was replace the cap, replace the west rail has been damaged all along, but it's been serviceable. And then now the northwest approach rail has been hit again. So, and it's basically useless. So I said address all those issues, and we'd probably go ahead and just replace both caps because the other side's starting to crack and split too. And and then we'll talk to the city about just maintaining some kind of sealant on that deck, like a silane, something they can apply themselves, is relatively inexpensive. And they thought they could get the work done for between $70,000 and $75,000. So just to give you scale, the engineering alone would cost you almost twice that if we went with what the DOT, and there's, like I said, if we went to a full replacement through a grant process operated by the state, they have their opinions on what structures they'd like to build. And I think just shortcutting to the crux of the conversation is it would probably be in that $1 million to $2 million range. So you know, as far as the structure costs for, you know, just the replacement cost plus, you know, the engineering's on top of that yet, so. But, those are our options we've been discussing. You know, something to think about, because as of now, because I'm standing before you, we need signs up within the next 30 days by our state's rules, so, you'll probably be getting some phone calls from locals out there, because there is a lot of truck traffic out there with the construction going on, so.
So, just to be clear, the damage that you are showing in these pictures has happened since the last inspection?
No, this has been a slow progression. Like I said, we saw it coming, and we've had the conversations all along, basically, knowing, you know, full well what our options were through the process, because like I said, we were rejected for a preservation grant once before, just because it didn't, you know, because the rest of the structure isn't horrible. I mean, it's not in bad shape, in fact, you know, it's just the caps are the critical item here. So what the contractor would do, he'd just come out with a crane, he'd pick up the existing deck units, set them off to the side, do his cap work. He's going to probably replace it with like a steel H-pile cap instead of using timber again. And then he just reset the beams, fix the rail, fix the northwest approach rail, and move on.
Would that get us back to 80,000 pounds? Or
That would
40?
get you full legal loads again, yes.
Oh, it would. Good.
Yep.
It does get used by a lot of local growers.
Yeah, you know, every time we're out there, you know, we see quite a little traffic, and the ADT number's pretty high on it. The average daily traffic's pretty high on it. I'm not sure I have that number with me, but I did look into it. But yeah, you can see it. Like I said, and these are never easy decisions for us, you know, because, you know, we know how impactful it is to the citizens around it. And we know, you know, it's a cost to you at some point, at some level. It's just a matter of the decision that you need to make, you know, with going forward, you know, how much tolerance do you have of the existing load value versus the cost of, you know, one or the other, you know, and just for food for thought, if you were to do the repair option, that would be considered about a 25-year fix, okay? If you were to do a full replacement, it would be more considered as a 75-year fix. But looking at the future, I mean, there's a couple of ways to evaluate it. If you look at the future cost of money, it doesn't get any cheaper, but at the same time, a lot of things can change between now and 25 years. So, let's see here. This structure was built in 2000, so it's only 21 years old. So that, you know, that's why, you know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to do a full replacement necessarily, especially with the costs being what they are. You know, if I was to make a recommendation, I would probably go with just, you know, spend the 75 grand and get it, you know, put a Band-Aid on it until we get to the finish line. Because we consider design life of a structure typically 75 to 100 years. So, you know, we're only not even a third of the way into this thing. So,
Don, doing the repair work, we could still apply for the big grant?
you wouldn't need to then. No, I don't think that would be feasible. In fact, I checked with Doug Kinneberg at the state, and he was, you know, when I explained the situation to him, because my biggest fear would he just say, oh, it's only 21 years old. No, we're just not going to do it. But he said, no, that's not the way it works with the big grant. They do have their, the ability to still do that. But it's got to score. You're still in a scoring system against other structures across the state. So, and it might take a while to score. You might have to do some preliminary engineering to get to that point, to buy 10 points to get in the pack where the score needs to be to achieve that grant. So. And then as far as the other structures go, you know, I mean, you guys, we did the Sanborn Bridge, which was just rehabilitated, 2 years ago now, and that still looks really good. The berm repair they did looks really good. There's a box culvert just south of that. You guys cleaned out the channel. That's going to get good flow and function now. The only thing that's an issue with that is just there's some spalling around a reinforced concrete pipe that goes through one of the wing walls. It just needs to be patched up. The rest of it's pretty stout. And then the Foster Street Bridge, which we're in the middle of a design for a preservation type of project similar to what we did at Sanborn, and hope to have that done this year and do construction on that potentially next year. So. But I'm open to any questions about any of it if you have any more questions.
Other questions?
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, action to award bid for West Harmon Utility Improvements, Project 2021-16. Mr. Croce or Mr. Schrader, who's speaking?
Mr. Mayor, Council, Joe Schrader, City Engineer. Bids were opened on April 26th in City Hall Council Chambers. 2 bids were received. The project came in over budget by approximately $141,000 when professional fees are added. So we looked at working with the contractor to negotiate that bid in order to get this project done. We have a list of items that the city has agreed to do that we can take out of the bid to reduce the cost. We're able to save $210,482.75, with that being a total savings because we still have to put down the asphalt. And we put down at the city bid, which is cheaper than what was in here, which brings the total cost savings to $154,991.60. Eric Prunny was the design engineer for the project. He reviewed the bids and he thought they were competitive with where the market's at right now. COVID, the storms down south early in the year have really thrown prices. And he doesn't think we'll necessarily get better numbers if we do rebid or wait. So he recommends awarding the bid. And the city also agrees with awarding the bid to H&W at the revised price of $799,476.75.
Move the award, H&W.
Motion by Mr. Allen,
Second.
second by Mr. Rice. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience wishes to address this one? All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Excuse me, action to award bid for snow removal project 2021-42. Mr. Schrader.
Bids were opened on May 5th. 4 bids were received. The bid tabulation was attached. Low bid for this project was Top Grade Concrete for equipment class 1 and 2. Low bid for equipment class 3 was AAA Lawn Care. Staff recommends awarding bid schedules A and B to Top Grade Concrete for $81.25 as shown on the attached bid tab. We are recommending rejecting bid schedule C. So bid schedules A and B are basically your shovel, your four-wheeler, ATV type snow removal. Bid schedule B is like the equivalent of a skid loader. We did bid a bid schedule C, which is basically like a loader or a tractor. And talking with city staff, we don't ever foresee the need of that. If we do, it'd be an emergency situation. We need more than just one person to do it. So that is what we are recommending.
And this is what would be contracted out in the case of non-removal within the 48 hours as required by city ordinance.
And this
Like
is
nuisance property.
Yes, and this is renewable up to 5 years upon mutual agreement.
How does this compare to last year?
So the way, and Mike can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the way things were done in the past is it was basically a lump sum per job. This looks like it's going to be quite a bit cheaper when we're doing it per hour.
We were all over the board last year, depending on who got called. There was quite a disparity in the differences between price. So what we've done here is tried to come up with a uniform way to do this so that everybody knows they're going to be charged the same. So this price gets us that. And I think they're proposing this for a 5-year period. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there is the ability to increase it for cost of living or something like that, or inflation. Or
Mr. Mayor, it's upon mutual agreement, so it's between the city and the contractor.
Okay.
They've agreed on the increased price.
If, okay. Because as we know, nothing stays the same for 5 years. So.
We just have the one contractor for everything then?
Correct, for snow removal.
Can they handle all that, I wonder? One guy?
We contacted them after the bid and they said, we want the bid, so. And they are required to be bonded, so if there's any reason that they can't fulfill their duties, they'll have to come back to the bond and the bond will take care of it for them.
They will also be responsible for any damage they create in the
ERs?
properties.
Yep.
We did have an issue with that this year.
Move to approve Schedule A and B to upgrade.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rice, second by Mr. McCardle. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to address this? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Action award bid for mowing and spraying for noxious weeds, project 2021-43. Again, this is a similar situation, only for the weeds and mowing that occurs on nuisance properties in the summer. Mr. Schrader.
Bids were opened on May 5th. 3 bids were received. Quality Cut Lawn Care, Red Low for mowing services at $70 per hour, and AAA Lawn Care and Maintenance, Red Low for spraying of noxious weeds at $75 per hour. We do recommend awarding bid Schedule A to Quality Cut for a price of $70 per hour, and bid Schedule B to AAA Lawn Care and Maintenance for $75 per hour.
Move to approve bid Schedule A to Quality Cut and B to AAA.
Motion by Mr. Stark.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rice. Further discussion? Sure.
No, we required it by a quarter hour.
This doesn't, by resolution, we have a portion that the city charges. This doesn't affect that, so everybody's aware of that. This is only what's contracted out that goes into that building. Okay. Other questions? Okay, we have a motion. Anybody in the audience wish to address it? Okay, we have a motion second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Action to approve Agreement A 2021-25, Highway 37 Utility Improvement Design with SPN and Associates, Project 2021-45.
Mr. Mayor, Council, currently the South Dakota Department of Transportation is finishing their design on Highway 37 from National Guard Road to Fair Oaks Avenue. We are looking to contract with SPN to complete utility improvements that are going to be required through that area with the construction. The agreement with SPN will provide design and bidding services for the project, and it will be bid in conjunction with the DOT's project. SPN is familiar with the project. They're on the design team, so it makes sense to go with them. They have the resources to complete the project. Total project costs are estimated to be approximately $1.85 million. This is not budgeted for this year. We are asking for that money. We have saved $90,000 in our sanitary budget so far this year on projects that have came under budget. Water main, we haven't had anything to know if we'll certainly be under budget, but we're looking good so far. So with that, we do recommend City Council approval of the attached agreement with SPN for $57,000 for design and bidding.
Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Barrington. Further discussion?
Question.
Fire away.
This goes back quite a few years to when we did doing other lake things. Do we know if the state is looking at doing anything with the lake embankment that comes within 2 or 3 feet of the road there? If
Yep.
you tear the road out and the bank falls in, what's going to happen?
So right now, the state is proposing to install the highway further to the east, and with that, they are looking at doing bank improvements at that section, and we've been actively involved with those talks in the design. So that is, we're pushing them.
Part of the discussion.
Yep, it's not ruled out anyway. And this probably will come back for an SRF loan for the project. I'm just, this will be coming back probably in budgeting time.
That qualify for watershed improvement?
There will be, yep.
Okay. Other questions? Anybody in the audience wish to address this? Mr. Valley?
Marty, you asked a question on that. That road from, I basically call it the Ford Garage out to the...
Tell people who you are.
Oh, Mike Valley, citizen, Mitchell. But I'm not here representing the Transportation Commission, but I am on the State Transportation Commission. And that is going to be a neat project, and as he said, both the bridges are going to come out. They're at their timeline. They're safe. You always want to take them out before they're not safe. But you're going to, in order to keep traffic going across, because you can't divert around town if you take out both bridges. So there'll be one lane that'll be open, then it'll move to the east, as he said. The other thing that's going to be unique is it's still workable at this point, is to go the bike path or shared use path, and that will be from the same place all the way across the top of the dam. It'll take the old Highway 37 route and go across the top of the dam and then go on across all the way up to Airport Road. So it'll be a fun deal. And then when they do that, they're going to come in, like you said, on the north side of the spillway. It gets pretty tight, and there's a lot of trees in there, and there's going to have to be some work done in there. So just thought I'd give you a little perspective.
So if they were accidentally to put a hole in our dam and drain our lake, would that... kind of help us out a little bit? Just kidding, Mike. Any other comments? Anybody else wish to address this? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Action to approve agreement A 2021-26, airport equipment storage building boiler and mechanical equipment maintenance. Mr. Croce, are you speaking to this one?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and Council. So the boiler that we have in the structure is approximately 10 years old. We spend roughly $1,200 a year on maintenance of that system, but at this time, the company that we work with on the maintenance has recommended a full flushing of the system and new fittings, new filters, fittings, and glycol. So that cost is approximately what we have estimated to be about $8,000 to $9,000. We think that we could maybe cut that down a little bit utilizing some of the city services, pumping out the fluid, and if that's possible, we would utilize that option. So right now we have $8,000 budgeted in the maintenance and repair line item, and we have a reserve fund balance of $91,000. This would be funds that would be reimbursed by the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. So we would get reimbursed for the money that we spend on this.
I did look at the boiler, and the boiler's in good shape, but there's water quality issues in the in-floor heating system, and that's where they need to go to drain it, whatnot. So it is a septic system, so it would require pumping out because you don't want to dump that stuff into a septic tank or drain field.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Allen.
Second.
Second by Mr. Barrington. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to address this? Spare the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Action to approve agreement A 2021-27, tolling agreement for indoor pool warranty repairs. Mr. Johnson, are you going to speak to this?
Yeah, I'm sure you've all been waiting just to hear from me tonight on this. So this is a fairly simple agreement. The indoor pool has had some spots where the plaster needs to be repaired. Basically, the warranty that would cover that is set to expire in a few weeks here on June 6th, but the company that would be doing that work is not able to get here now until August. So this agreement is just going to treat that work as if it happened during the warranty period. I mean, it's a very simple, short agreement, and that's all it's intended to do. One additional thing, since the time this was posted, a representative from one of the companies was able to do a preliminary inspection last week to try to get an estimate of how much material they'll need to have on hand when they do the repairs and the full inspection in August. They were able to do that numbers and then get that estimated number, and then they were also took a water sample while they were here, and they wanted to attach the results from that water sample as part of this agreement. Again, we didn't get those results until after the agenda was posted, so I don't have any issue with adding that sample as an exhibit, but I did not have it available at the time the agenda was posted.
Just out of curiosity, once the repairs are made, does the warranty start over? I mean, you know, like, do they warranty the repairs?
No. So it's kind of a one and done kind of situation.
How long will the work take?
I don't know if we have a full timeline, but I think based on the amount of material and things they were, and locations that they were able to find, they think they'll be able to do the work in a couple of days. I don't know how long the pool itself is going to be shut down from, you know, operational to operational. Nathan Powell, Parks and Rec Director. You can expect about 3 days to draw it down, and then 3 days to fill it back up.
So they're going to have to do everything in the whole pool, or is it just certain spots they're going to hit?
When they do their full inspection, they'll be taking care of the spots that are identified already, where they've done some underwater patching. They'll redo that. They'll identify any other areas that haven't been identified already and take care of that. I guess they're going to try to take care of anything that they're able to identify.
We have somebody that can inspect it after they do it to make sure everything's done correctly, or?
We'll have staff. We have not brought in an independent inspector. We've discussed it, but we haven't engaged anybody to do that.
Motion by Mr. Rice. Second by Mrs. Chark.
And Steve, that's with the additional exhibit?
Yeah. Anybody in the audience wish to address this? Okay. All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Action to approve resolution R 2021-34, resolution to authorize the city to apply for CDBG funding in the amount of $2,020,000 for the Mitchell Area Safe House project. We're not actually going for this. Mitchell Safe House is. Are you going to speak to this, Ms. Elway?
Sure, and we do have a member or a representative from District 3 to speak about the grant application, I believe. Is here, Eric, come on up. The city would be acting as a pass-through agency sponsoring the application on behalf of the Mitchell Area Safe House. There's a little bit of an obligation that the city has with that. We'd be doing the pay-app request, and then also we have to do an audit for the federal funds that are received, but we're doing that now anyways with the CARES Act funds that we receive and the other federal funds that the city receives as well. Speak to the application itself.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Eric Ambrosen with Planning District 3 out of Yankton. Good to be here. The Mitchell Area Safe House has a great opportunity to apply for some CDBG funding, block grant funding, to help them construct a new facility to better serve area victims and families in response to the COVID pandemic. If you've been to their facility, they're pretty much on top of each other. It's very, very tight quarters. So this is a good opportunity to apply for some assistance. The state GOED, the Governor's Office of Economic Development, had an allocation of $6 million in block grant funds to be used specifically for projects that do respond to the pandemic. And so as of tonight, there are only 2 projects that I know of that have been awarded, and those 2 together haven't even occupied $1 million of the 6. You can apply for up to $2 million. So the timing is about perfect to, go in and strike while that money is available. So that's why we have a $2 million ask of the state. $20,000 on top of that would be for like District 3's admin of the funds. So the city of Mitchell basically is approving tonight to be basically a pass-through or a sponsor of the application. And like Stephanie said, basically the money will flow through Mitchell, the city of Mitchell, to the Safe House for the construction of their project. Cities can apply for 1 CDBG every year for themselves, and they can also pass through up to 3 block grants to nonprofits. But anyway, this is a project that fits very, very well into the purpose of these COVID funds. So we're excited to get going on the application and get it on up to peer for review. So items 20, 21, and 22, they are all actions that pertain to the city approving the application for the Safe House project.
And I guess just one final thing to add, the city didn't go and seek out a project in an agency that might fit into one of those project categories. We were approached because they were looking into this grant through the state and working with District 3. So that's how it came to us.
We do have, there is staff, the executive director and staff with the Mitchell Area Safe House are available if you do have any questions about the project itself. Say we're District 3. We're basically on hand to walk through the process with the city and the Safe House.
Safe House, you want to talk? As Mr. Smith says, it's free advertising.
Although we don't need any more business.
I don't mean that kind of advertising. I didn't mean that kind of advertising.
I don't know if you have any questions for us. For those of you that have been, the Mitchell Area Safe House has been in its current facility since 1998. Tanta Osterhaus.
Tell who you are, because people
sorry,
online.
I'm Nancy Whitgriff. I'm the executive director. Tanta Osterhaus helped us do the fundraising back at that time, and so we moved into that facility then. We are not ADA compliant. You can't get a stretcher into any of our rooms. Now with COVID, we can't social distance. We only have 1 kitchen. We have 3 bathrooms for 26 people to share. It's just not built for the type of work that we do in this day and age. So we've been grandfathered in our federal grants so far, but we do always have the stipulation at the bottom that should we get to a new facility, it needs to meet the current ADA and all the other building requirements that go through.
So where will the new facility be? Will you build it there, or?
So we're currently still in the process.
Name.
Ashley Hobbs, Development Director for the Mitchell Area Safe House Foundation. We are currently still in the process of looking for land at this moment. We have some potential sites and have some further conversations, but it has to meet a certain criteria. Safety and security is probably one of our biggest issues and concerns. Not too visible. We're currently on the bypass. Obviously, a lot of people know where we are located, but there comes with certain issues with that, obviously. So we're still under the kind of still investigating that kind of as we speak. So this was a 3 to 5 year plan for the boards. This was kind of in the works prior. We started a strategic plan back in 2019, and it was a plan to kind of move the facility forward in a 3 to 5 year plan. And so this just kind of came a little ahead of time, but it's an awesome opportunity for us to be able to expand our services and kind of meet the needs of the city and community and our clients at this time.
Questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just almost forgot there, I'm passing around a sign-up sheet for the public hearing part, for our application, so be sure you sign up to win a chance for a free oven mitt. If you could entertain me for just one more second, one of the other requirements for this hearing for the application is to discuss community development and housing needs. this is generally a very vanilla portion of our application, but, and we could, you know, on one hand, we could, you know, go on for 10, 15, 20 minutes talking about, you know, housing needs and community development. But I have gone around that a little bit and just come up with a very broad general list of ideas, and I guess if they sound good, let's just run with it, please. And if not, I'll have to go back and redo the minutes of this meeting. So see what you think about this, okay? So this is looking towards for the future for community development and housing needs. So some of the following needs were identified at this meeting. Organizations which provide services for at-risk populations need to increase their capacity to provide services in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. Continue to promote new developments in workforce housing. Promote workforce development in general. And address educational needs and opportunities in the community. Develop areas in and around Mitchell with a balance of employment, housing, and civic uses. And ensure adequate connections to the region's transportation system. Does that not sound great? Like, ready for a stamp? Okay.
Sounds like Justin wrote it right away.
All right, good. So yeah, basically now the only other parts of the application hearing would be the addressing the resolutions for the application itself, and then identifying the mayor as the project certifying officer and environmental certifying officer.
I'll move approval of R 202-34.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Charles, second by Mr. Rice. Further discussion? Anybody else in the audience want to address this? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Action to approve resolution R 2021-35. Motion by Mr. Rice, second by Mr. McCardle. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience want to address this one? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Action to approve resolution R 2021-36, resolution assuring fair housing.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Allen, second by Mr. Rice. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to address this? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Action to approve resolution R 2021-37, a resolution amending resolution R 2020-82, the 2021 compensation plan for the city of Mitchell. Ms. Elwine, are you speaking?
Sure. Included in the packet is a resolution that would amend the compensation plan for 2021. There's two changes to that plan. The first one is eliminating the public safety administrative assistant position, and then the second change would be to add the public safety administrative coordinator. The city of Mitchell recently had a position that became vacant from an employee leaving. In evaluating and discussing what the best use of those funds are moving forward for current needs, the decision was made to make this request. It will take some of the administrative duties that are currently assigned to sergeants in the police department and fire captains and centralize it in one administrative position so we can have those officers back on the street more. The funding will come from the savings that were realized when the public safety director position was eliminated and we created the two separate departments. And there is still funding left from that savings to allow you to make additional changes in the future. The total cost change is $10,000 to the budget. And the budget will be able to be met because of the payout is less than what the new moving forward will be. So.
If approved, how soon would advertisements and person be in place, do we think?
I would anticipate we would have someone on board within 4 to 6 weeks. I believe HR already has the ad ready in case the council approves it, so it could be posted later this week.
I'll move approval of resolution 2021-37.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Rice, second by Mr. Barrington. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to address this? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Second reading of ordinance O 2020-105, rezoning blocks 1, 2, 3, Lake Bridge Addition, a subdivision irregular tract number 1 and 2 in the northwest quarter of section 10, township 103 north, range 60 west, of the 5th Prime Meridian, City of Metro Davis County, South Dakota, from UD Urban Development District to a Planned Unit Development District, be known as the Lake Ridge Planned Development District. Mr. Putnam.
Thank you, Mayor. You may recall last time I reported that the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this. Again, this is only for Phase 1 of the project. Basically, the Planned Development District pretty much is, you have a copy of that proposed ordinance in there, and you can see that it's primarily just single family is all they're proposing. And also it has the setbacks and so forth within there. So again, Planning Commission did recommend approval. Really nothing has changed since the last time we talked.
Motion by Mr. Smith. Second by Mr. Sabers. Further discussion? If anybody in the audience wishes to address it. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Motion to adopt. Motion by Mrs. Chark, second by Mr. McCarver. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to address this? Roll call, please.
Dosher. McCardle.
Aye.
Barrington.
Aye.
Allen.
Aye.
Chart. Aye. Smith. Sabers. Rice.
Motion carries. First reading of ordinance O-2021-08, amending 10-9B3 Woodland Heights Plan Development District.
Again, this is dealing with a different planned development district that Ethan Lumber project is. This is their original one towards the south on Carl Road and so forth. Basically, what they're doing is amending this one. If you saw the aerial photo, you could see that there's one lot on the corner. Yes, thank you. Oops, excuse me, I'm wrong. Should be in there somewhere. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, it's basically, it's the corner that's, right there it is, I'm sorry. Thank you, where it says Lot 7, Block 1 there. The one row, there's a subdivided, they subdivided this into 3 areas, sub-areas in this planned development district. Sub-area A is the one that just along Capitol, was only designated for 2 families. Everything else was 1 family or single family until you get over to the Cottonwood Circle area. So basically what they do is they have a client that wants to build a house, single family house on this one instead of a duplex. So that's the only reason is we're moving that lot to the next sub area over. So
Have a nice big yard.
Yeah. So that's simply is what they're doing in this one, moving the one lot to the different sub area.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Allen. Second by Mr. Rice. Further discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to address this? You're leaving. What are you getting up here for?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I just wanted to say, Kyle Croce, Public Works Director, I just wanted to say thank you. It's been an honor to serve with all of you. I appreciate the opportunity to work with all of you, and many thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address this item?
Thank you.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Before we go into executive session, Car Club, I'm sorry. We should have told you you're on the consent agenda. And, I guess we should have said, hey, if you want to come up and have an advertisement for yourself, we'll give you a quick 2-3 minutes if you want. It's up to you. Come on up. They sat patiently through this whole meeting.
We're learning lots of stuff.
You're ready to run for this job, aren't you?
I know who I'm voting for. I like your lake idea. My name's Steve Bren. I'm vice president of the 301 Rods. It's a car club that we started about 4 years ago. I got bored one night about 5 years ago and started a cruise night because I noticed there was no hot rods cruising Mitchell. And we started with 4 cars, and some nights we're 4 cars, and some nights we're 60 cars, and we try to be nice and not scare too many babies, and we go up and down Main Street, usually end up around the lake, and we try to change it up. But we've been doing a couple car shows here and there, raising money for Angel Tree every year with our annual, I think, is this our 4th or 5th year, you guys? 5th year of hot dogs and hot rods over in Hitchcock. And we do that free, and we feed a bunch of people, and we all meet for a cruise, take a picture out at the docks on the northwest end there. But anyways, we just try to do whatever we can with the community and have fun and hot rods and try to promote fun. And then we've been helping the Outcasts, Chuck's here, and the last couple of years to help park cars at the big car show that they've been having for 16 years. Yeah. And then this year they gave us the opportunity to take over for them because they're retired. And they've been doing it.
As we age, doesn't it?
So we had a group meeting and we talked about it, and the core of us decided that we want to do it. So we're hoping that you guys just take an opportunity to look at that, our application, and prove us so we can do it. We're just going to keep it small this year because we're just, we're nervous and shaky. But we want to do it right.
Well, you got approved right off the bat, so
okay. Good to go.
And, yeah, and now the application line system for this is online. Should be a fairly simple, straightforward application.
Sounds
from
great.
here on out. So.
Sounds
Okay.
great. Well, thank
Good
you
luck.
for the opportunity to talk.
You bet. Good
you
luck.
guys have a good night. We'll get out of your hair.
Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go into make a motion to enter into executive session in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 125-2-1 personnel and South Dakota Codified Law 125-2-3 legal.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Mr. Rice, second by Mr. McCardle. Further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. There won't be any action after the executive session.